reading the Common Core breakdown of this book, to show parents, this is what your child's going to be reading, is one winter Pauline discovered she was pregnant. When she told Collie, he surprised her by being pleased. He began to drink less and come home more often. They eased back into a relationship more like the early days of their marriage, when he asked if she were tired or wanted him to bring her something from the store. And it goes on and on. She regarded love as possessive mating and romance as the goal of the spirit. All right? A parent reading that's going, wow, okay, that's all right. Well, if that's what you want to read, go ahead. But, thanks to Politichicks, they did some digging for the parents. Page 84. Now, I got to tell you, some of this...
Yeah, some of it you can't read
I can't read. I cannot read out loud. Even on the internet, I ain't going to do that. I got people from the church listening to this. But I can't even read the whole sentence. But lifting the hem of her nightgown only to her navel. He talks about how he can, part of the book on page 181, the little girls are the only things I'll miss. And then he starts going into where he touched them. This is in a book that Common Core suggests for your 11th grader to read.
It's
Don't believe. I'm going to put the link.
Portrayal of
I'm going to put the link in our little chat box here for those of you listening that aren't into the whole chat thing. I'm putting a link in our little chat box to the article on the Blaze.
And if you don't have the chat box open, you can find it on the Blaze.
On
the
Blaze.com. Yeah. Matter of fact, the first little picture there that you see when the website loads, just click on that. This is softcore porn. And I'm not so sure I'm willing to call it just softcore porn. I mean, I was blushing when I was reading some of this, man. Particularly when I'm thinking about, a 16, 17-year-old little girl reading this. If it was my daughter, it just as well be 50 Shades of Grey. And they're trying to build this book. And let's see, where's it at here? An 11-year-old African-American girl in Ohio in the early 40s prays for her eyes to turn blue so that she will be beautiful. That's their description.
So if you're a parent who doesn't particularly read Toni Morrison, you wouldn't know what your kids are reading. And the thing is, Marty and I, we're not ones for sheltering kids, No,
look, we read some pretty harsh stuff. I read Helter Skelter when I was in the 5th grade. But that's not pornography.
The thing is,
it's not about pedophilia.
The parents need to be able to make informed decisions. The key word being informed about what their kids, because look, you got to be ready to talk to your kids about what they're reading in a book like that.
Well,
if you're going to have your kids read that, then you should read it before they do, so that you can discuss the.
Hey man, look, I've got an 18-year-old son, and I don't want to talk to him about this stuff. Not what I read, not even what I just read on the Blaze's website. No, I want to talk to him about that. No.
Just make him watch Girls on HBO.
I don't know. I wouldn't do. He ain't done nothing that bad. He ain't done nothing to deserve that. But you see what we're talking about with this Common Core thing, man. And look, it's kind of scary. It really is. I think they're going to start seeing more and more people pulling their kids out of the public school system and either putting them in private schools or charter schools or homeschooling their kids.
And they're going to start outlawing homeschools. That would be the next step.
Oh, yeah.
This is all about control.
Once their roles start shrinking enough that they really start noticing the shrinking of the dollars, oh, well then, public school is going to become compulsory again. There's not going to be any homeschool. Private schools are going to start being more and more regulated. No more charter schools. I'm starting to see the design here, There is a much, much bigger plan here other than just trying to get all our kids on the same page.
And if you think we're conspiracy nuts or something, hey, y'all just start Googling Common Core.
Yeah, don't believe us.
And,
please
hey,
don't.
Why don't you go down to your local school that may be implementing Common Core, and why don't you go and pick up some of the materials, that
what's sad, though, man?
With
you know what's sad?
What?
This book right here is on, that we're talking about, it's on the suggested reading list of Common Core. Do you think any of like the Left Behind series, the Christian novels,
mm-hmm.
Do you think any of those are on there?
Yeah, right.
You think anything written by T.D. Jakes or Ken Richardson, think any of them got books?
You think maybe C.S. Lewis?
Oh, man. Now, that's pretty radical there, because that's like Christianity in disguise, man.
See?
You can get pornography in school, but you better not talk about Jesus, because that would just be wrong.
And you better not tell the parents what their kids are being asked to read.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Man, I'm telling you, people, open your eyes. Open your eyes, man. This is some scary, scary stuff. Moving on down the road, I alluded to an update, too, that we've got on the Chris Lane shooting. You remember the Australian kid that was shot in the back by the three teenagers?
Mm-hmm.
They were bored, or that was the first report, that they were bored. That's not. I'm not quite sure that that's the case. That makes for a really interesting news story, to hold the attention. Three black teenage boys shoot a white kid in the back just because they were bored. It goes a little deeper than that. I think there's been a whole lot of talk about the gang issue, and that this might have been either part of a gang initiation, or that it was like in an effort to intimidate somebody else into joining a gang. The man that called the police, and told them where the three boys were, they were on the way to that man's house to shoot his son. At least that's according to some of the police reports, and according to that man himself. There's some video. I believe the Blazes got that video too of that of one of them's dad, or that kid's dad, that when he was saying, they were on their way to to shoot my son. His son since then has had to be he's sent him off to what he said was like a youth program, because that kid is scared to death. Now he's getting death threats. And you know who they're blaming, or what's being blamed here, man? Are they blaming the parents here? One of them's mother is still trying to say that her baby was at home playing video games. And there's no way it could have been him. And at the same time, she's saying that she feels sorry, for that boy's mother, but that's her baby. Her boy's still a baby too. Can't send him off for the rest of his life for just a mistake he made when he was 17. A mistake. It was a mistake, man.
Just a mistake. Yeah,
they're also blaming
the parents of the kids. I mean, I'm sure she is telling the parents of of Chris Lane that was a mistake.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that boys' parents are in Australia.
I would be willing to bet that somebody down there would even be willing to say that boy didn't have no business jogging past there. I guarantee you there's a whole group of people that's going to be finding all kind of reasons to put the blame anywhere but on those 3 boys.
Yeah,
and their parents.
Richard's pointing it out in the chat right now that it's all good because
Jesse
Jackson said it should be frowned upon.
He tweeted. Now, he ain't talking to nobody. He tweeted that it's frowned upon. That kind of violence is frowned upon.
Then he deleted that tweet.
Was Trayvon
and decided
to
do it again. He decided to tweet it again, but this time he even got Chris Lane's name wrong. He called him Chris Lee.
Yep, that's right. That's right. That shows he don't care. They don't care. It don't matter that the white boy was killed just as long as it ain't no black kids getting shot. Man, I had somebody tell me on our website that I'm white. I don't have no idea what it's like being black. And that this kind of thing here just shows just how far we got to go. What? Well, you're right. You're right, man. I don't have any idea what it's like to be black in America. I do know what it's like to be white in America. And, it doesn't exactly help things to be white anymore, because now when you're white, no matter what you do, you're a bigot just for being white. And there's no way that could possibly be racist in any way. One of them kids...
Racism only comes from white people, man.
One of them kids said 90% on his Twitter page, the Trigger Man, the man dancing in the police station, said 90% of white people are nasty. Hashtag hate them. But he didn't mean that, man. He didn't mean that. And if that had been a black kid jogging past there, they'd have probably shot him too. You think maybe they would have been so eager?
Well,
there's a whole unwillingness to even bring... they didn't. The mainstream press didn't even want to admit that the 3 boys were black. It took them 24 hours, man. 24 hours to admit what color they were, and they were quick to point out that race had nothing to do with it, without even trying to get to the bottom of it. They want to make it clear. But like that, the cop up in New York that shot that 14-year-old black kid while he was trying to shoot somebody else. Remember that? The little black kid's running down the street. You can see it on the surveillance cameras. Shooting at somebody. The cop had to shoot him. And the boy's mama blames the cop. Blames the cop. He didn't have to shoot my boy. It didn't matter to her that her boy was trying to gun down another man. It didn't matter to her that her 14-year-old son was roaming the streets at 11:45 at night with a gun. Using
that's irrelevant.
Right. That didn't have nothing to do with it. And the mainstream press didn't even want to talk about that, man. They didn't even want to mention that part. They had marches against that policeman in Brooklyn because he shot a kid that was trying to kill a man. And you got these 3 kids, even if they didn't do it because of race, even if they didn't do it, if there's going to be equality, then let there be equality. Let everybody shoulder their own share of the blame. Al and Jesse really need to remember that it's not, nobody's making up the 50% of all homicides committed by black men. They can't admit that. And that's not, and it's racist to even point that out. But I thought we're supposed to have an honest conversation about it.